Hello everyone and welcome to the Choosing You podcast. And in today's episode, we have a very hot episode and it's gonna be about friends and friendships and why your friends disappear and why you never get an answer. As someone who had always a very complicated situation with finding friends, I would like to talk about friends in adulthood between women and why this is actually so hard given our early 20s, end of 20s. And I would like to understand how we used to make friendships and how we are making them today, and what is making friendships actually so hard now in early 30s, and why even though we're grown up and we are wiser and older and more experienced, this ghosting culture between friendships is happening and is real. And I would like to dive deep into that. So if you are thinking, oh, this is something I'm looking for, please stay tuned. So I would say since our childhood, and then you're stepping into early 20s, mid of 20s, it was more like an assigned and very default kind of friendship type of society and groups, because we're all attending school and then maybe you go to university, you have a shared environment that kept the big groups together. The society was somewhere there. And especially the girlies out there who are more the people pleaser types of girlies who just would say yes to everything, because we still didn't really were shaped in us and in our character. That was more easier for us. We wanted to keep those friendships alive. Back in the day, you were popular when you had a lot of friends, when you would belong to those cool friends groups. So you would just keep up with whatever was asked from you. And you didn't understand what are boundaries, even though people overstepped them. That was somehow, acceptable. And you just go with the flow. And once this is breaking off, once you are stepping into new periods of your life, let's say you're stepping into a first job, you finish university, you're ending the old friendships or the groups, you're not really, in there anymore because everyone is living their own lives now. It comes very naturally that we are understanding more of what we want from our life. We are more asking ourselves questions about our purpose and what we want to do, what are we really burning for, what we really like, and what we really want to do in a career and in life. And all those questions will eventually pop up. I would say it really gonna hit you in your early 30s, because you will eventually realize how fast time has flown by, how fast your 20s flown by, and now you're 30 and the clock is ticking and there's so much pressure coming from everywhere. At this time, people really, this is what we read on the internet, you should be somebody by this time. You should have achieved something by this time. It can be career, it can be a family, your biological clock is ticking, you don't even know on which side to run to first, because everyone is pulling on you at the same time. And this is where you really start to define and understand, okay, my time is so precious, my time is just so finite, and I need to really define where I'm going and why I'm going there. There's no playing around anymore. You're setting up your boundaries, you're really shaping yourself. You don't want anybody to run over you anymore. You are really entering a new era, and for that reason, you're really sure what's happening. So all the new people you meet now is very by choice. So it can be either a hobby you're pursuing, or it can be, you're trying to grow your skills. You want to go a certain way with your job, with your career. Maybe you're studying a language. Everything has a reason. You're doing A to receive B. You're not really playing around anymore, checking it out. We as women, we have literally, our time is ticking, and we understanding that. So therefore, whatever we do is very intentional. So if you go to a professional event, or you're going to a networking event, or whatever you go, it is intentional. People you meet and the interactions you have, everything is intentional. And we also realize no one is coming to save us. No one is coming and give us anything for free. We have to open the doors for ourselves. So we are really stepping into communication and friendships, relationships with a reason. It can be a business relationship. It can be, finding women who can relate to something, where we want to share something, and therefore everything is happening by intention intention. And like in a classic adulthood women friendship, I would define that as like 3 layers friendship. Depends on whatever deep connection you might have. It can be very, very casual, like let's say level 1, where you have occasional check-ins, like a service level interactions. You ask yourself what's going on, what are you doing these days, like the life update things. But that's it. You maybe see each other, on the street. You maybe meet sometimes, but very, very occasionally. And the deeper level 2, let's call it level 2, would be more like vulnerable conversations. Maybe you guys are really on that level to share life struggles, and you guys just, what is the life purpose? You're going more into their questions, but you don't want that other person to decide for you. It's more about sharing and then still going your own way. And level 3, this is more like the inner circle thing. This is the friend you call at 3 a.m. in the morning and telling, okay, something bad happened. I really just need you to be there. I don't want to be alone. And the presence, and can I sleep over at your place? And the person will say, yes, come over. I'm still awake. Let me make you some food. This is that kind of really, really deep connection, but you don't have that with everybody. And even if you are an adult and you're a grown-up woman and you feel like you know so much about people and you met so many people, you will find yourself still misreading situations with friends. Let's say you really feel a very good chemistry and connection with a certain person, and you would define them as a level 2 or level 3 person. But eventually this person doesn't want to go that deep with you. So this friend will keep you at level 1. So it has to be the same level for both of you guys to understand that you can actually go that deep. Otherwise, there will be a lot of miscommunication happening. So that can still happen. It can be very painful, but we just have to understand that not everyone wants to be our more best friend, more inner circle friend, and that is okay. That is totally fine. But with that comes the question, because we got older, because we understood, okay, my time is precious. I know exactly where I want to go. I want to see how it's going, and then maybe I change direction. So we are more defined on our way. Women now have their boundaries. No one can overstep them. They're very strict about this. And on that point, we're getting very competitive and we get very insecure. So instead of supporting each other or trying to go somewhere together, because there's plenty of space for all of us, we are seeing each other, especially if we're going the same direction with the career or, something skills wise, our inner circle, whatever friends we know, business partners we know. If that is going in the same direction, we constantly compare each other and we are seeing each other as a threat. And again, even though we are not children anymore, we are not teenagers anymore, even in that kind of age, you will see women gossiping behind other women's backs because, that's what we still are doing. We are still not grown up enough. We are still talking behind other people's back, but we would eventually not be confident enough to say that to a person's face. So it's really hard to understand who actually wants a genuine friendship with you and who's just out there, maybe who wants to get a connection through you, certain information from you, because in the beginning it all is very, very much butterflies and sunny, because if there's a new friendship, let's say, evolving and happening, there's a lot of change. I would describe that as person is communicating with you a lot, messaging you a lot, responding you on time. You guys can meet, the capability to meet is so, we can meet every day, after work, before work, in my lunch break. People are so open to you to meet you. So it's really difficult to understand, is this person really genuine or not? Because the intentions seems to be genuine, but then you will see where this whole conversation is going to, or how often this is happening. And, if the person is always asking you about a certain thing, or if that person just talking and never listening to you, it can be different things. And with time, you will eventually see what's happening. If the person got what she wants, you will see changes in behavior. You will see, slower responses, delayed responses, really hard to meet each other anymore. Then this person maybe start being always late, always make you wait. Conversations maybe not as nice as it was. So you can really understand who was maybe fake from the beginning, but they can just really pretend so well. And this is reality that is happening across the board. That is not even defined for a certain age of women. That is across the board, different ages. We're all adults. faults, and it has whatever background you have. It can happen with different women. So now comes the question, when we are started to be so strict in our own boundaries, we don't let anybody to make us wait, or we would not accept late responses, disrespectful responses, suddenly ghosting, not answering anymore, keep telling people, I'm gonna text you again, but not texting. Like, we all know what it means to not keep the promises. Yet, we are the ones that would never ever accept that, but we are the ones who are actually doing that to other women because we think we're maybe better than them or they're not worth our time. So why would you do this to somebody else if you would not accept that for yourself? Why would you let somebody wait on purpose, disrespect on purpose, but would not accept it for yourself? Like, this is a logic that is just not existing. And if there is something we don't like, it's always better to be honest. Even though being honest is very hard, but to end the friendship by saying I don't like certain things and I don't want to be friends with you anymore is much better than pretend to be friends and answer every few weeks, or pretend to meet up and then cancel every meeting, or pretend to say, let me check my schedule, and then 6 months there is nothing because you're more busier than, I don't know, K-drama actor. I don't know. But eventually we are creating this really, really tense situation where we are in the middle and where the other person doesn't even know what happened because no one ever called out anything. And this is really the silent, slow ghosting that is happening because we actually avoid all the conversations happening with the certain person, and we are just don't wanna address certain things. And my question would be now it takes more courage to end a friendship honestly than to disappear. And why is this so hard for women to just say, listen, I thought you're nice, but this isn't working out for me for that and that reason, and I hope you can respect my opinion, and this is why I want to end the friendship. I feel like I really want to say much more to that topic than I just said, so maybe we can continue on this one in the next week's episode and just dive a little bit more into that. So if you want to listen, join again next week. But I would like to talk about more the reality of ghosting culture, because this is real even in our age. This is so real. This is not just between dating. This is happening between friends a lot. And I also want to look on the other side on how to just not accept that, how we can stand in our own power when this is actually happening to us, and how can we walk away with a certain dignity even though we can never ever get the full closure of somebody, even though we're approaching them, we're seeing something is wrong and this person is just not really giving us the truth, telling us the truth. So let's do that next week and try to understand more on how to be stronger and how to leave that friendship, not letting the disrespect getting into us. So I hope you enjoyed that episode, and let me know your thoughts. Let me know if you have been here, and see you next week. Thank you so much.